Hi, now that you've understand a little bit better about the Philips Cycle brand and DNA of the brand, let me introduce you to the little Syntia. Syntia is a super nice machine we launched 2 years ago. When we launched it, it used to be retailed $1,099. And now that you're going to be promoting with Costco, it's going to be a super aggressive price. So make sure that you have a better understanding of the machine and you present it properly to make sure that everything's understood properly by the consumer. So the little Syntia is not in stainless steel, it's a full plastic chase, right? Looks very nice though. You have a very nice coffee bean drop right over here where you can put 250 grams of coffee. You still have the little adapter for your grinders and you still have the technology of the adapting system, right? Remember the Cycle adapting system? The machine can evaluate the kind of coffee you're using and it takes 2 to 3 cups to evaluate. You still have it on this one. You still have your ceramic grinders, you still have the pre-brewing. Now, this machine is quite simple to use because the only little capacities that you can do actually is you can configure your espresso, configure your allongé, and probably make a cappuccino on a manual way. Otherwise, the machine is super simple. Here, you have a 1.5 liter water tank where you can still put your filter in it. You can put it back. You have your stainless steel, you have your Panarello. Here you have your coffee drop. And here you have your group, infusion group, or your brewing group that you can clean at any time with water. Once I've done this, I can close it back. And our machine is ready. So super important. The first thing you need to do once the consumer has this machine at home, they need to put water in it. Because the machine is going to ask you, I'm going to do anything until you put water in my system. So you need to fill the water tank with water, open water right over here, and the machine is going to get primed at that moment. Once you prime the water, the machine is going to tell you, okay, I'm heating up, I'm cleaning up the water, now I'm ready to use. So make sure that you have some water that goes out of the machine. Once this is done, the machine will be ready to work. It will rinse all the systems inside, and as I told you, remember, all our automatic machines had an auto cleaning system, so each time it's going to be turned off and turned on, the machine is going to rinse all the circuits of water inside to make sure that there's no residues and no problem with it. It's better for the maintenance of the machine. So now, this being said, I have water out, the machine is ready to use. Remember I mentioned 2 things about coffee earlier today. I talked to you about the length of the coffee and the strength of the coffee. Strength of the coffee I told you was, with 1 bean, it was 7 grams. 2 beans equaled 9 grams. And 3 beans equal 10.5 grams of coffee that were going to be brewed with this machine. So again, I have the 3 selections right over here. It's not very clear because the screen is black and the lights turns out orange. So you just need to press and you have to select the mode you want. Also, don't forget you still have your bypass right over here for ground coffee. Let's make an example. If you have visitors or people coming at your place that don't want this coffee but would like to have a decaf, for example, you can use a ground coffee right over here and put it here. Super important. Only 1 cup of spoon that you can put at a time. So take your spoon, put it, drop it inside, ask your machine for the ground coffee, you press espresso and that's it. Don't put 2 because you're going to stuck your machine and you're going to be mad at it. So once in a while, once in a time. This being said, now that I've programmed the strength of my coffee, let's say for example, I want 10.5 grams. Which is equal to 3 beans. Now, I only need to configure the length of my coffee. Now, the length of the coffee, remember, the length of the coffee is the quantity of water that you put for the same amount of coffee. How can I program the length of my coffee? Here we go. I'm going to put my cup, drop down this as an adjustment, and the only thing I need to do is I'm going to press espresso short to program my espresso. I'm going to leave it pressed, and then the 4 little lights here are gonna be popping up. This means it's entering in recording mode. So I leave it pressed, and then my 4 lights pop up. So I'm sending the message to my machine. Record the quantity of water you're gonna use for this coffee because it's exactly the same length I want to use for each time I'm gonna press on espresso short. So now it's sending the water, and I'm gonna stop. Once I judge it's enough coffee length for me. So that for me is perfect. I'll leave it. And now starting on, Each time I'm gonna press on one touch on espresso short, it's gonna give me exactly this quantity. Now, if I wanna do an allongé, it's the same story. I'm gonna put my cup and I'm gonna leave press allongé. And it's gonna do exactly the same procedure. I'm gonna leave it pressed. And once I judge that the length of the coffee is sufficient enough for the kind of allongé that I want, I leave it. That's enough for me. There you go. So on both coffees, I have the exactly same amount because I program my machine to have 10.5 grams of coffee. The difference is the quantity of water. Remember, on this machine, this is not an SBS. This is not a cycle brewing system. So I can control the pressure of the crema. So I'll always have a standard crema with this machine. Also, you need to remember that you don't have an LED screen such as you have in the Syntia one. So there's another way that differences the one from the Syntia in stainless steel. You don't have any cup warmer. However, one thing you can have access to is hot water. How can I do it? It's super simple. I told you, you just need to open to hot water and it's gonna come out. Hot water is gonna come out from this. It's gonna increase the temperature and then the hot water comes out. But if you feel like experiencing your talents in terms of barista, you can still do your cappuccino on your own. It's super simple. You need to have a cup on your side, and you need to open the vapor, and you need to use hot water, another cup, because hot water is going to come out at the beginning. Hot water comes out, and then as long as the temperature keeps increasing, the vapor is going to come out. So now it stops, the temperature raises, and then the vapor comes out. There you go. Now I can start using my milk and frothing my milk to make a cappuccino. Doing nice circles. Froth the surface. Once I'm done, I close it. Put this in my glass. Have a nice texture. And now I can only go ask to my machine to make me an espresso to make it a cappuccino. So as you can see, you can do an espresso, you can do an allongé, you can do a cappuccino, you can program the strength of your coffee, you can program the length of your coffee, you can adjust your grinders. So it's a super nice machine for the features you're having, for the price that you're having it. It's almost given. Also, it's super easy to clean. The machine will tell you when it needs to empty your coffee drop, empty your water drop, and when you need to descale it. The red lights on the top will bring on and tell you exactly what you need to do. So here's your water tank, here's your coffee drop. And if I need to clean my brewing group, I really recommend you to do it. So it's super easy to handle up. Just need 3 fingers, take it off like this. It's really important that you rinse it with cold water once a week, because if you don't rinse it if you rinse it, for example, with hot water, what's gonna happen is that hot water is gonna dilute the oils that's keeping in the coffee inside. It's gonna get all around the brewing group, and that can cause problem in the long-term perspective. Otherwise, just rinse it with cold water, and the machine's gonna have a super nice durability of probably 10 years to take care probably of it. So if you have any other questions regarding this machine, I really recommend you that you go into philipsaico.com. All the information, all the images of the machine are located on this place.